GOP frontrunner Donald Trump is expressing a bit of remorse today, saying if he had to do it over again, he wouldn't retweet that unflattering picture of Heidi Cruz. He's also scrambling to clarify just where he stands on abortion. Polls increasingly show women just don't like Trump. So is there anything he can do to win them back? Let's talk to a couple of women about that. Penny Nance, president of Concerned Women for America and author of the upcoming book Feisty and Feminine. And Emily Miller, political analyst and author of Emily Gets Her Gun. Good to see you both today.
Good to be here.
Okay, I want to start with this sort of a compilation of polls looking at where people are, where women are when it comes to how they feel about the candidates. Donald Trump is upside down with women, negative almost 43 points. Emily, where does he go with that?
Well, Cruz isn't any better. I mean,
no, he is. He's at negative 23, so he's got him by 20 points. They're both in the negatives. But, you know, all of Trump's comments, and I mean, he sounds like a little bit of remorse. Like he knows the Heidi Cruz thing wasn't a good move.
Maybe not the best idea. But Republicans always do bad with women. I mean, they never win the majority of women. They do better with married women, something we've been discussing, than single women. And granted, there's a way to go. But I think, you know, Trump's message, I think when you get into the general, right now we're in the primary and they're all going at each other and it's sort of unattractive. I think when you get into the general, Trump's message, which is jobs and national security, is going to appeal to women. It's just right now we're in this sort of infighting that, I mean, you can move up from here.
Yeah, and assuming that it's him and Hillary head-to-head, Penny, I mean, there are those in the Republican Party who worried about how he's going to deal with her head-to-head on a stage, whether, that's a fine line anytime that you're debating a woman. We remember the Lazio moment when he approached her to sign something and that blew up in his face.
Yes, I mean, he's trying to look strong, but yet he looked like a bully at that point.
Right, so how does Trump handle her if he's going to come across on the issues that are critical issues that people care about, without kind of going off the rails?
Well, and this is essential. Women have carried every presidential election since 1964, and so Republicans are right to worry. Romney lost women by 36 points, I believe, 32 points, and couldn't make it up. He carried married women, but single women, that's the block that they have to worry about, and Trump's at 50, loses them by 52 points. He'd have to win white men by 70%. Ronald Reagan didn't even do that. So to going forward, I mean, he really has got to change the way he speaks to women, and this week was a bad week for him with the pro-life community. He doesn't understand our message.
And I know that you signed on to a letter earlier this year during one of the primaries saying that people who are pro-life shouldn't trust him. You said, America will only be a great nation when we have leaders of strong character who will defend both unborn children and the dignity of women. We cannot trust Donald Trump to do either. Emily, he's had different positions in the past. He really was kind of all over it this week, but he continues to say he's now pro-life. Do you think people are convinced?
Yeah, and I was just talking to the campaign, and they're saying he is pro-life and is strongly pro-life, and that's where he stands. And I know someone
he doesn't know what that means is the problem. I don't think he understands
what he said this week, obviously with Chris Matthews, who has an agenda, who wants Hillary Clinton elected. So I mean, he's walking into sort of a trap. However, I mean, I think it's worth debating here. What Donald Trump said is this is a crime. The pro-life movement believes this is murdering a baby. Why are women who are committing this crime not any kind of punishment? Why is that such a horrible thing to say to the pro-life movement?
Because we strongly believe that, like Alice Paul, one of the early suffragists, said that abortion is the ultimate exploitation of women. Somebody else said, a woman doesn't want an abortion like she wants an ice cream cone or a Porsche. It's like an animal gnawing off its own leg in a trap. It's an act of violence, and it hurts her. So she is also being exploited by the pro-choice movement, by politics, by Planned Parenthood, and she has damaged herself. That's why.
So you would feel punishment for a physician who was performing an illegal abortion is appropriate, but not for a woman who undergoes an abortion. So again, Emily, you know, the left immediately pounced on that and said we're going back to the back alleys and coat hangers, and you know, it wasn't a good move for him.
And speaking to the Trump campaign, as they've said, he has backpedaled from that position and said it should be the doctors. However, they do point out that personhood is up for debate in a lot of the states. Whether a woman who is pregnant is murdered, that's committed 2 murders, and you know, also this is not from the Trump campaign, but why do we look at, say, women and say, oh, they're just victims? They didn't decide, they didn't choose not to have this extra child. They didn't choose to have it's inconvenient in their careers or their family life. You know, why do we say women can't make these decisions for themselves.
And that's really the argument the left made to me on PBS this week, that somehow we've got it wrong. But I would say that pro-lifers are the most compassionate towards women. We see these women as hurting and broken that we need to love and give other options to.
All right, we got to leave it there. And as Emily pointed out, all of the Republican candidates have some room for improvement with female voters. So we'll see.
Well, we can have 3. They can work for us. We'll work to get our votes here.
Good to see you guys. Thanks.